is the new Florida State president.
Turn that up.
Very quiet.
Oh, that's horrible, man.
Did you hear it?
Barely.
Let's see. Let me play it again.
McCullough.
There we go.
Better.
Is the new Florida State president. Florida State is heavily after Cain Madden, and it seems like, right now, Florida State is in a really good position.
I'll get a tattoo of NG if he does not land up for the state.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Mann. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by No Game Day. Go Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, aka E-Dub, in the house. We're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by No Game Day. Go Live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear. Go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by No Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome. Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by No Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. FSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Hear the Spear, presented to you by No Game Day. We are here on this wonderful, beautiful Monday evening. We haven't done one of these in a good while. We didn't get to record last Thursday. All the guys were a little busy. It was a busy week last week, so now we're jumping over to Monday. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Packed one. Tons of stuff going on. With me this evening, we got Nate Greer, our lead recruiting insider, Dustin Lewis, our lead writer and editor at the bottom, and Austin Veazey, sick Veazey, this evening with us, our lead basketball writer at NoGameDay.com. Gentlemen, it is good to be back with you guys after our little Thursday break, kind of, I guess.
It's great to be here. It's Monday. I'm ready to get to work.
For some reason, we record on the worst day of the week, so, who knows how this will go.
This is the worst day to record.
Yeah, if we got to get it. We're getting Dustin a new mic. Everybody remind me to do that, so when we can hear his full sentences, I promise I'll do it.
He has a new job now, so you should be able to go ahead and nut up for a microphone on Amazon.
I'll just speak up louder, but I haven't got my first paycheck yet, so.
What are they doing? They're holding out.
Until that comes in, there will be no new mic.
They've got you messed up, man. You sure you got the job?
I think so. No one really talked to me today, so I might have got fired, and I don't even know, but we'll see.
I wouldn't talk to you either, so.
Probably a good decision on their part. I would definitely ruin their Monday.
Nate, look at the what's going on here? Like, the chain is out. Are we celebrating something? Like, what? The chain? We're showing off a little bit here?
Not my grandfather's dog chain.
Okay. No, I'm looking at the other chain. Well, we can't see that through Zoom. Jeez.
Why even comment on it?
Don't make me look bad.
Don't be a hater, man.
I'm not being a hater. I'm not being a hater, but I'm just saying it's looking fresh. Got the black tee on, looking like you're about to be at a club at
man. I just got home from work,
Dang.
So
at recess.
I know.
Well, let's jump into it before it gets too crazy here. Before we get started, make sure you guys go check us out on Twitter at Hear the Spear. You can also listen to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play. A lot of options there. Let's jump into it. Biggest thing of today. We always tend to record whenever some big news happens. It works out perfectly for us. But Florida State has found its new school president, Richard McAuliffe. I completely screwed the last name up again. Even though I studied it for 5 minutes in the production meeting, I still somehow found a way to screw up his last name.
Play the pronunciation video over the stream.
Here we go. Is the new Florida State president.
Turn that up.
Very quiet.
Oh, that's horrible, man.
Did you hear it?
Barely.
Let's see. Let me play it again.
McCullough.
There we go. Is the new Florida State president. Dustin's loving it. Okay, I don't need it to say it again.
It does it for 1 minute on repeat. I tried to.
Oh, I bet you did. But
Same
don't be
video.
Same one. Yeah, it took us a couple minutes in the production meeting to get it right. But Florida State has found its 16th president. He will succeed John Thrasher, and Thrasher will actually be retiring later this summer. Thrasher has been serving since 2014, but Florida State for the last couple of weeks has been running through interviews, practically a whole monthly process here, but it went down to 3 candidates. And then here today broke news that he has been elected as the future Florida State president. And Nate, you saw it earlier today. He was already mentioning on what you like is a little bit of football, some sports, and even
football talk,
a little offensive line too. Yeah. Like, come on, he's starting off really well.
I'll take it, man. This guy's, he's educated as hell, man. Like, teacher at Carnegie Mellon, John Hopkins. He's been at a who's who. He's an entrepreneur. Florida State's got one of the best entrepreneur programs in the country. Good fit so far, as from what I've seen. Don't know much about him, but talked about football, so that's exciting.
Well, he also did come from a background in Harvard, which is not too shabby, I think, right?
Yeah. Harvard, Carnegie Mellon. Went to. So he's a smart dude. So
yeah, that's about all you need to hear.
He's an entrepreneur with multiple patents, so he's a creator. So that's good for Florida State. We got to create some revenue to get football back where it needs to be.
Some cool nerdy stuff here. McCullough developed and launched, and I got to get that right. I got to get that right.
McCullough
developed and launched a new structural biology program at Harvard, and it's in Cairo Electron Microscape Facility that partners Harvard Medical School and 3 Boston area hospitals. He also led the development for a new $100 million multi-institution collaboration to build an advanced biological innovation and manufacturing center and facility, which will be a hub for workforce training, economic development, education, and medical research for the region. So after all of that, did anybody get any smarter?
The only thing I have a question about is how come your voice gets low and then just randomly gets louder, and then gets lower, and then gets louder. It was really confusing to hear you read that.
It's kind of like your mic.
You got me there.
It's kind of like your microphone. But I can't really say much because I need to get you a new one. But
I think too. No, he's super into diversity. I just read. So with FAMU and everything, I think that's a good fit.
Yeah, working that relationship there in town is always huge. With Florida State and FAMU always being hand in hand with a lot of things and projects going around that side of town too is huge. Yep. So I think it's a big time hire. I think we need to do a little bit more research on them and read up on them and kind of give our takes maybe next week, as this is kind of more newer news. But it seems like Florida State has done a very excellent job, definitely in their interviewing process.
It's a lot better than the person that was rumored a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That would have been just an absolute dropping of the ball by the university.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Florida State, there was some talks about early on that Coburn was interested in the position, and a lot of people last year when we knew President Thrasher, his time was almost done here, a lot of people were thinking Coburn would be big on that running too, but that doesn't seem to be. That's not the case now.
Nah.
Were you not a Coburn move guy?
Yeah, he doesn't move the needle for me.
Makes sense. But now you look at Florida, this president's most likely going to look at a new athletic director too. So a lot of moving things happening in a pretty significant transition. The new coaching staff at Florida State and the football program, which brings in a gigantic amount of revenue too. So this is a big time kind of new wave. That football program has had a ton of changes, not only just with the coaching staff, but along with the administration in there and the program too. And, the boosters also. So this is a big time moving kind of wheel right now. that we'll have to keep an eye on as it moves forward into this upcoming season.
Speaking of revenue, I don't want to get off topic, but how much money the SEC is giving those schools as like a COVID reimbursement, man, that they're just going to continue to put a gap in between, athletically, Florida State's going to continue to fall back. They should have left the ACC a long time ago. That's a whole other podcast discussion,
Yeah, I saw those numbers too, which we can maybe bring up in a different episode.
It's asinine.
Yeah, it's pretty sad compared to also other conferences across the country. It's a little sad.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't really done any research, but it looked like Auburn got enough money to pay out Gus Malzahn's full buyout.
Must be nice.
Can FSU get that kind of help?
Nice.
They're trying to figure out Taggart,
It's been 5 months, his whole buyout's paid. Like, come on.
Just stroke your check. Oh, here we go. And that was like what, maybe 10, 15% of what they got. Ridiculous, man.
Not too great, is it? Hey, Boca, I've seen a couple things the last couple of weeks. Boca looks nice down there, I gotta say. Wherever the pad, it looks like resortish a little bit. Yeah, that's what happens though. Little bit of money. Anyways, let's jump on to the biggest thing of the week. I don't know if anybody saw this, if you live under a rock, but man, oh man, what a crazy last, 5-6 days it has been on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Hashtag Cain Madden to tally has been blowing up. We haven't even really got a chance to talk about it or speak on it, but this is a big-time offensive lineman from Marshall, Cain Madden. He is going into practically his 6th year in college. He's leaving Marshall. He wants to go play somewhere else. Very, very talented offensive line. All-American. Is ranked as one of the top, I believe, 32, 35 players returning next season in college football overall. Obviously, a big-time NFL potential here for him to go as a right guard. A lot of stuff going on. So I don't know where we can start to unpack this one. We can kind of start off a little bit with, right away, I was hearing things that Florida State was most certainly getting in contact with Cain Madden right off the jump. That morning, Florida State was already getting in touch with, I believe, 2 phone calls that day. The rest of that kind of info you guys can find inside of our Discord. You can just go to patreon.com/NoleGameDay and it'll get you guys set up. But Florida State is heavily after Cain Madden, and it seems like, right now, Florida State is in a really good position.
Go ahead, Dustin. You go first.
My mic's on mute. But yeah, like you said, Cain Madden, obviously, anytime a talented offensive lineman hits the portal, Florida State is going to reach out and do their due diligence. And, at this point, it feels like that interest has been reciprocated. There's a lot of interest on Madden's end. And, I mean, man, he's good. A former walk-on. He started 31 games in his Marshall career, played in 48. So he's got a ton of experience at this level. And I got a chance to sit down earlier and just, kind of watch some film. I actually still have it pulled up. It was the Marshall versus Rice game. I just want to get a feel for, kind of how he played. And I don't know if it's their blocking scheme or what, but it feels like on run plays, this guy is always getting to the second level and putting a body on a linebacker or somebody else out there. He's really good coming up and double team and putting a guy on their back. He's solid in pass blocking. I believe he didn't give up a sack the entire season. So, I mean, this would be a huge get for Florida State to kind of shore up that offensive line, which, as everyone knows, has really been a weakness over the past half decade or so.
There's some people who are hot and cold on this move. Being a Marshall guy, a 6-year guy, if he was an All-American, all those starts, why did he not test the league? So, there's some questions about that for some people that are, Florida State fans are either really love it or they completely despise it. There's really hardly anyone that's in between. So you have, the camp on the left. That's this guy is a 6-year guy, couldn't go pro, thinks he can try a bigger schools and fall on his face. Where you have the other side that, here's a guy with nearly 40 starts and an All-American type season last year, shores up an offensive line while he's at guard. Yeah, guard is not the number one need for Florida State, but when you can bring in two guards, if you look at,
Gibbons.
Maybe kicking Taylor back out to tackle like he played a little bit last year, or maybe that's what they want. I don't necessarily think they're done. Not saying that there's names out there, but I think it's a guy you take, one, because it's better than what you have right now at guard. The guy's experienced. He has decent film. He's played decent competition. And for right now, for the status of the offensive line for Florida State the last 5 years, you can't turn away guys who are All-American caliber players, irregardless if they come from Louisiana Tech, Marshall, Alabama, Notre Dame. It doesn't matter. You have to continue to raise that floor of the room and continue to push guys who you don't want to play, that God forbid something happens and there's injuries, that you have to play because you have no depth. At worst, you have depth, but let's not kid ourselves. It's a guy that will come in and start right away and shore up even an offensive line that continues to get better in the offseason with guys that have been added to the roster. So I think that it is a quality take, a quality move if it does, unfold like it seems to be unfolding. Let's not kid ourselves. I don't think some of these schools will be after him if he's not worth the effort or worth the attention.
And to your point about not being done yet, we just saw Chaz Neal enter the portal, which, whether that signals someone else coming in or, Florida State's definitely still looking. Right now on paper, if you land Madden, the starting 5 offensive lines, honestly, not bad.
No.
It'd be the best at least since 2013. And I don't think that's much of an argument.
I go 2014. 2014 wasn't bad. 2014 was really good when Irving moved to center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that offensive line took that next step, when he moved inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't think he's going to be I don't think Neal's going to be the last lineman to leave. There's a couple other names that are being floated around. So you have to shore that depth back up. So, it's a guy with multiple starts, played at All-American caliber. It doesn't matter if he's 6'3". Take the take, and he's going to start if he comes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was saying I didn't really – this has been one of the first times where I don't see a lot of FSU fans complaining about taking a guard in this position because I like –
it's more on some of these on these websites.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know how that business goes. Got to get your clicks, but I mean, Florida State will take that any day of the week to bring in an All-American offensive lineman. I mean, let's be honest, any day, and it completely. I mean, wherever he wants to go, he will play. I mean, he's got so much experience, and I think I mean, how do you build this offensive line? You think, Dula? I know we've been kind of talking about it inside of the Discord, but I just put out here on Twitter. How do you think Florida State builds this offensive line if Cain Madden indeed decides to pick Florida State, because he is wanting to make a visit pretty early on in June?
Yeah, I mean, to me, just kind of making a prediction, I guess, on that starting 5, I would have Devontae Love-Taylor, the left to right. Devontae Love-Taylor at left tackle, Dylan Gibbons at left guard, Bree Smith at center, Madden at right guard, and then Robert Scott at right tackle. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone disagrees with me, but, to have that as your starting 5, that means you get to bring a guy who was in the starting rotation day 1 last year and Darius Washington, as well as Lucas. You get to bring both of those guys off the bench. That's quality depth to have. Brady Scott obviously has played some in his career. Davian Johnson, Thomas Schrader. So you get those guys as your starting five, and then, that makes the depth behind them. There's some quality guys.
I wouldn't mind seeing Robert Scott at left tackle. I think you look at that and maybe like camp and see what that looks like, because he had a really good freshman season. And what happens if a guy like Lloyd Willis takes the next step, or Robert Orr comes in as advertised and can play as a freshman? I think there's, I do think that Taylor and Scott are your tackles probably. I would like to see what Scott looks like at left tackle.
And I'm not even counting out a little bit of Dante Lucas if that progression is made mentally more than anything. I think there's a lot of I think if mentally up there is switched around and there's, like I said, some true progress, then I think there's some potential for him too, where at least you're building a good depth mark there. I think it's going to be, when we get to fall camp, we won't know what's going on, because I think a lot of guys are going to be put in some different places, and Atkins is going to test out a few guys and where they might go that fit the best. But that's going to be that's going to be a pretty interesting job for him alone, because he's getting, a good depth, and he's got talent. He's got experienced guys. You're bringing in Gibbons, who's played in big time games. He's been to the college football playoffs, and you're bringing in, if it were to be Cain Madden, you're bringing in a very experienced guy, and has a potential to be going into the league and get drafted as offensive lineman, which, Florida State hasn't said that in years. So it's a lot of building. It's like he's like playing Minecraft. He's gonna have to play around and build it a little bit.
I think Gibbons gets a look at tackle also. I'm not quite sure if he's, locked in as a guard. I think they look at him as a tackle.
It's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah,
we have more depth than we've had since who knows when. Even that 2013 team or 2014, there wasn't a ton of depth behind them. We just got really lucky with injuries. If one of those guys goes down, it's pretty bleak behind them. Now there's depth with, like you mentioned, with Lucas, has started a ton of games. Johnson started games. Scott started games. That's not a bad problem to have, is actually having bodies up front.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to say. Those guys you just mentioned, the last year, 2 years, 3 years, those guys have been your starters, and now you've brought in better players, and they're going to be your depth. So, I think that just shows to the progression that this room has made so far under Coach Atkins and Coach Norvell.
We've got a few questions here at the end that we're going to go through. And there's a little bit of Cain Madden in there also, so we'll continue to speak on him. But if you guys want to stay with the latest, Dustin Lewis has already put in a prediction. How many days ago on Cain Madden? How many days? Yeah. It's been a good amount of days. You can go back and look.
It was Friday, right?
It was Thursday.
Woo!
That I put it in.
It was a quick prediction, but still sticking with it, right?
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good.
The CBs are following this time.
Nah. But Dustin Lewis, D-Lou down there, he put in a prediction for Cain Madden and where he thinks he might end up. We've had the latest on Cain since the very beginning. So if you guys haven't joined yet, highly suggested, or you have a very boring offseason, patreon.com/NoGameDay. It's kicking right now. Let's jump into some other big news from last week that we didn't get a chance to cover just yet. Florida State is going to open up the season against Notre Dame on prime time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, ABC, ESPN. I'm stoked. It's a Sunday night. It's going to be like a weird night. It's going to be giving me a chance to watch football all day Saturday and not be drunk. It's going to allow me to be at home where I can just go to the bathroom and do all that kind of stuff. Nate's shaking his head. He hasn't had a sip of alcohol in months, but I'm excited about this game. You're bringing fans back. You've got a nighttime game. It's going to be hot as hell. It fits perfectly. And I think one of the biggest things here, and I'm sure Nate can give his response on it too, but it's Labor Day weekend. There's going to be a lot of kids going to games on Saturdays and visiting, but Sunday, it's just Florida State and Notre Dame. This allows a lot of recruits to travel up, travel down to Tallahassee and attend this one. That's why Mike Norvell is really pressing hard on getting a lot of these guys here.
We've already started to see the, recruiting updates and talk on Twitter about there's a lot of push to make this just the game for Florida State this year, in terms of their home game and getting all these guys in for a visit. It's going to be Notre Dame, not Miami. Miami's going to be 82-0 win this year. But anyways,
can you say that again? Florida State versus Miami score prediction.
82-zip.
Who?
Shut out.
Y'all get come on, you'll get a field goal.
Oh man. Yeah, Nate's already going with the 82-0 Knowles.
No, but it's going to be a who's who in town, so it's going to start with these summer visits to camp. It's going to be a who's who. They're going to get every possible big time kid. We talked about it a little bit on this podcast and on Conquer Talk. Every time they, Florida State's done this recently, they shot him in the foot. So hopefully, we can have a little bit of a change there. But, the environment's going to be great. It's the first time in a while for Florida State that they have prime time by themselves, kicking off the season. Logo still holds weight. So I would not – I think having over 100, 120 recruits would be very realistic for this game.
Yeah, and Florida starts off their season at home, so that if there's even players that are down or even visiting Miami too.
Who?
Florida and Miami.
Never heard of them.
I mean, Miami's will be in Atlanta, but still, it moves to Sunday for Florida State's game. But yeah, Miami, I guess they doesn't know who they are.
Miami season's over after week 1, so that's gonna be like 75-0.
Yeah, that's not gonna be lasting long. Yeah, at half.
Alabama versus Miami.
Oh yes.
Even the wife agrees there, but yeah, Miami and Alabama, they don't even get prime time. Miami's logo doesn't hold weight. They're going to be playing at 3:30. 3:30 for them. It's kind of like they would never make the college football playoffs, at least during my lifetime, but it's kind of like how you put the smaller game in the earlier windows, so then you can put the prime time, the closer matchup one later in the night. But yeah, that shouldn't last long. And then the ATL, it's not going to be good for them.
Well, going back to the game we were talking about, I just wanted to add on to what Nate was saying. Ever since last month at the spring game, it seems like the plan that Travis Hunter and some of the other commits have kind of pitched is for everybody to take their official visit for that first game against Notre Dame if they can. And at the same time, it seems like Florida State is going to try and get as many high-profile targets to come in and visit Tallahassee that same weekend as well. And, it's prime time, the atmosphere, kicking off the season against, a solid Notre Dame team and a respected program. This is a big moment for Florida State, not only on the football field, but on the recruiting forefront. It could really set them up for that early signing period.
Like it is. We've talked about it for 2 years now. It's going to be a make or break. Even
you got to look competitive.
Even if they lose, they're about to say even if they lose, a competitive game, not what we've seen in the last year and a half, 2 years. A competitive, hard fought, progress. You showed a lot of progress, tight game, and we had a long time to talk about that, but Notre Dame's got a lot of holes to fill on their own. I don't think it's a Notre Dame team that makes a playoff like last year, but it is a very, very tough game to open the season.
It's more than just a matchup, too. I mean, the momentum Florida State's gotten all offseason, picking up Mackenzie Milton, Bargeman, DJ Williams, Kier Thomas. I mean, guy after guy after guy, getting 5 stars for the future classes. There's a ton of momentum on that front. Florida State fans are excited again, and you have to think with only 25% capacity to last year, There's a lot of fans who couldn't make games last year that go, "Oh, this is Notre Dame. It's prime time. We haven't been in 2 years. Let's go to a game."
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be such a vibe. People are gonna be going crazy all game. And I'm excited for it. I think a lot of people are really, really excited for this game.
I fully expect Virginia Tech, type pregame, atmosphere.
I do too.
Just off the chain.
So just like quick question. Do you guys think going back to, now having a full capacity stadium and, probably tens of thousands of more fans in the stands this season, how does that affect a road team in their first game like Notre Dame? Last season they didn't play in front of that large of a crowd. Now they're going into a hostile environment, potentially sold out 80,000 fans. Is that something they have to think about?
I think if you are returning like a Tommy Reese who's been there and been in big games, probably not too much, but they're going to have a new quarterback, and they're replacing a lot up front, and they're replacing quite a few pieces on defense. So, I don't think necessarily. I think yes, it's going to impact them, especially on offense, being that that's your first game. But I think they're still, as a whole, they the last few years they've been in a lot of big games. So now it's going to see how they do actually when it's their shot. So it's different when you come in and you're a sub and you're not relied upon all the time. But when you're the starter and now you play more of a role, your mess ups are even that more of a hit to the team. So I'm excited for it. As a fan, wanting to get back to some basics, get back to the college football, but I'm also excited to see what happens. There's a lot of positive mojo, like Austin said. Some good, solid work coming out of spring and going into summer workouts and stuff. So can they put it together? They haven't done that since 2015, 16, really. And I think it'd be a stretch to even include those years.
And not even just including spring and summer. Just look how we closed last season when we had that 2-week COVID break. It looked pretty good against Duke.
Yeah.
Just getting a full offseason in a system for these players is going to be huge.
Yeah, like offensively, they looked phenomenal.
Yeah, so a full offseason where they could develop, learn the playbook better, and now you have some real talent across the whole offense. There's real reason to have positive vibes about this team.
Yeah. All we've talked about is if they can shore up the offensive line, if the offensive line can step up, and they've addressed those concerns. They bring in a Parchment as a wide receiver 1. They have a really, I think, solid backfield. They had, McLean surprised a lot in spring, and you have, Dustin Hill coming in. There's a lot to be excited about, but my excitement is definitely going to be tempered. I joke about Miami 82-0, but my excitement is tempered because I want to see the progress first before I truly buy into it.
I'm hyped, baby. I'm hyped.
I'm hyped.
I'm Liddy Faggitti right now, baby. I'm Liddy Faggitti.
I'm also realistic and scorned,
Absolutely. Oh, we've all been through it. I think that's every FSU fan. When they're walking inside of the stadium, they're going to be kind of just like, whoo, boy, please just give me a game going into the fourth quarter. They'd kill for a game going into the fourth quarter.
Last time I was in Doak for a real football game, not counting the spring game, was when we lost to Florida. What was it, 41-17?
Yeah,
or whatever it was. Like
that's my last memory. They quit that game, man.
Yeah, that's my last memory of Doak. So to walk in to a completely different environment, I'm ready to see it.
I think that if it goes in the fourth quarter, it's a close game. I think Doak's going to be just off the chain.
Yeah, that's where it does play a factor. I mean, Florida State and Doak Campbell Stadium at night is just kind of a different animal. I mean, maybe during the day it's not the same, but when it gets to nighttime, college students are fully packed in there too. I mean, and even older men are just off there. They're
the spirit outside just it has a different kind of flame to it when it's a night game.
Yeah. you're tailgating all day. You've had a few drinks. I mean, you're going to get loud. You've been waiting for it. And you didn't get to do this last year, too. A majority, 80%, 75% of people didn't get to go to games last year. They're going to want to lose their vocal cords because it'll be 120% worth it. It's going to be wild, like Nate said. And it can, the crazy thing is, wait until, Florida State does have that fourth quarter situation. And, Doak is able to play an effect on it. The fan base is able to be loud, and a defense is able to make a big stop, and you just got it's all kind of dreaming things a little bit, but that's just goes in huge into displaying and advertising what Mike Norvell has been doing this entire offseason. He's had a wonderful offseason for the circumstances that he has been in, without having recruits being able to come visit, being able to take this game down to the wire, or whichever. Could be big time momentum on the recruiting front, which is very scary. We've talked about it, Nate. It's very scary if Florida State is able to compete at a high caliber with the recruiting edge that they're on right now.
What I was about to say, let's not get it twisted. Recruits don't look at it like fans do, like we do. Like the W's and L's. They look at the environment. They look at how they fit in the offense. They look at, is there progress? If Doak is electric and FSU keeps it close or wins, you really have to consider. I don't care what you say. Florida State is gaining a lot of momentum on the recruiting front. If they go on and pull that game off, if they win in front of 120. Top flight, top of the board, whoever's in town, it's going to be a lot of big time players in town. They're going to put their hat in the game for an awesome class, because we're already hearing about names here and there that are really buying into what Norvell is doing, and if they really start to see it, it's going to be spooky hours for a lot of people.
You coming to the game?
I am coming.
Austin said he's thinking about it too.
I should be, barring anything crazy happening.
I'd assume they'd have a bunch of basketball recruits there too.
Yeah, so the way basketball does recruiting is they always set it up around football games, just so they.
Yeah, I'd imagine they would use that as it's going to be a great environment.
I'm trying to think, like for the past, like Pat Williams came, it was for football game. But most of the big time guys they'll try and bring in for a football game as well, just so they can see, part of campus life. They consider football games part of campus life, which I think is kind of fun.
Yeah, I bet. I always see them on Langford, or not Langford. Yeah, it's Langford.
Yeah,
I see them eating there.
We always have a tailgate.
Yep.
On the green.
Let's not kid ourselves. Florida State's got work to do to catch up back up to Clemson, but a win, the in-state schools will have to be very nervous about not taking the opportunity while Florida State's been down.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for it, though. Might have to do a little tailgate situation. I don't know. I told Nate he's going to do a little keg stand.
No, I told you I don't do keg stands. But flip cup, lob and shoot, beer pong. What you want that smoke?
You're not winning that. You're not winning that. I've been to one tailgate with you, and we just sat there and talked. I didn't see you playing.
I didn't drink.
What were you sipping on?
I was sipping on Dr. Pepper and water.
Where are you going?
Oh man, all right, we'll see. We'll see. That's okay. I'll put Dustin. And I was gonna say Austin, but he ain't drinking. I need someone to drink with me.
I'll shoot if you drink. Is that fair?
Well, we can do 2v2s. I'll let a sober guy play with me. Then you get Dustin. Then Nate and Dustin versus me and Austin on beer pong, September 5th at 4 p.m. on the dot.
So you'll name a time to play us in beer pong, but you won't name a time to race low. So.
Nah, he's too scared.
We're gonna get to that, and that has already been addressed numerous times. He's supposed to be on here with us, but he might be training to get ready for that race. I don't know. He's doing a lot of training lately. He must be getting ready for my race. I'm fine. I'm in shape. I'm ready to go. But let's jump into some quick Q&As real quick before we. What'd you say?
What?
What'd he say?
Your hairline's not in shape.
My hairline's not in shape, man. Come on, I've had a long work day. You need to chill out. You're sick. We're lucky. You're lucky we let you on here. You can get us sick, just like Dustin said earlier.
I had to make the joke since Nate wasn't going to say it.
I mean, it's just old now. Look at it, dude. It's struggling,
Damn,
man.
look how good I look. You look like you just got out of a mob scene on HBO or something, Nate. All those chains. Get ready to go back to recess. Are you performing tonight?
Yeah. I got my booth set up, ready to go.
You hand out some Noel Game Day wristbands.
I'm on the 1s and 2s, spinning Barney and Blue's Clues, greatest hits.
Oh my goodness gracious! Help us all. Whoa! Damn. All right, here we go. First question of the day. The elephant in the room. When does Cain Madden commit? When does Cain Madden commit? Does anybody have the crystal?
Publicly?
Public. When do you, or give your best guess, I think, here.
Soon.
That's helpful.
June 7th at 2:37 p.m.
June 7th June 7th. Someone write it down. June 7th. So a Monday after the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fight.
See, that's a problem that you actually know the date of that fight.
What? I was thinking about going.
It doesn't surprise me.
Here, so
you look like a Logan Paul fanboy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. So
no,
yes,
You should have seen him, bro. He was.
It was Jake Paul that was
man.
It was Jake Paul that was fighting Dustin. You still don't understand.
Who cares?
It's
It's the same person. Who cares?
So he enters the portal. Florida State is one of the heavy pursuers. Florida State's name emerges. There's a lot of talk about it. Some people feel that Florida State's a favorite. About 3 days later, Crystal Ball start coming in after he announces that it's going to be his first visit. Let's see if he gets out of that first visit without it being publicly known that he's committing to Florida State. I'd be surprised if after that weekend if he visits anywhere else.
Because doesn't the summer semester start soon, anyways?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if not the first week of June, the second week. So I think it's before the.
Well,
yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be before the 10th of June, in my opinion.
Players start reporting June 1st. So, what is it? Usually like a 2 to 3 day acclimation, where they do, all their welcoming bullcrap. They don't go right into school. It's usually like that Friday or whatever they go, and it's a weekend, and they start on that Monday. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another question here. This was live here from Dylan Davis. Asks two things here. How is the defense looking for this upcoming season? Also, where will they play Jordan Travis if they don't start him at quarterback? So first question, how's the defense looking for the upcoming season? This is a big question mark for me heading if I'm going to the stands. I'm questioning, looking at how the defense looked last year and where some players were designed to be put at, aka Amari Gainer and end zone packages. There's a lot of question marks where I'm hoping that a spring helps this defense a lot in Adam Fuller, Coach Marv, et cetera, those position groups, those coaches, because I think that coaching staff didn't particularly know who to put where. I don't think they had a lot of time to have true competition. A spring plays a big role in this. So I think you're going to see an improvement on defense, but it's going to take a minute, if that makes any sense, because they're still trying to figure out who fits where. We didn't get to see Miko Dotson, who I think is one of the top corners for FSU. We didn't get to see him perform during the spring. He was walking around fine, and just didn't get to see him compete. Brownlee's out there. So I think there's a lot of question marks. You got to figure out who are your two starting corners. And Jerrion Jones, who a lot of people, he wasn't healthy for majority of last season. The staff still feels very highly of him, and you got to remember last year he started at corner, and there was some hiccups for him throughout his season last year. I think there's just a lot of question marks in a lot of different ways, and there's a young linebacker unit too coming in, and a defensive line that might have gone from the most disappointing position group last year might be the one that we're looking into Notre Dame feeling pretty confident about.
I mean, I don't think we have that answer yet. I don't even think the coaches know, who's playing where. I think the spring didn't answer a lot of those questions with some guys not playing, some guys in and out. I do think that you get more production from that front four, mainly because
Hard
you're gonna
not
have.
to.
I mean, it's going to be hard not to. I agree, but I think you're just going to get better play up there. I think that, like you said, you got to find what role Gainer plays. He was kind of out of position last year, just kind of floating in the wind. And I think the coaches understand that, and I think they know that they dropped the ball a little bit, but a lot of that too was also on the players. That wasn't necessarily all scheme. Let's just call it what it was. Some of it was just the players not buying into the defense and giving half-ass effort. But you can't get much worse than last year. But I'm not even ready to answer that right now because I don't know who's gonna play where. I still think they're doing a lot of tinkering. This kid that came in from what's his name? Joe. It's escaping me right now.
Joe Lang, I think.
Yeah, the guy that just came in. He's a guy that can. Some people are upset about that, but this guy, if you watch this film, in the box safety, he's like 5'11".
PWO. What's to be mad about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because people got to complain. But he's again a guy that has in-game experience, can play in box, can play special teams. So I just don't know what it looks like yet. So I'm not ready to answer that. I mean, real quick, if you look at it, who's guaranteed to start, in your opinion, real quick on defense? Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
Or Travis J. My bad.
Travis J. I think Keir Thomas.
Fabian Lovett.
Yeah.
Amari Gainer.
Rice.
Depends on the injury.
True.
5, maybe 6 people.
So that would move into, yeah.
Yep. So you're still trying to figure out 6.
Jammy? Maybe Jammy?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's solidified, but
yeah.
Going into spring, there was a lot of Jamie Robinson that we start off with.
Yeah.
Right, Dustin? We were there the first 2 scrimmages, and we were pretty
he's
shocked, not shocked, but a little surprised that he was first team reps right off the bat and played very well at it.
Yeah, I think that he's in there. So you're looking at, 5 to 6 positions that you still have to shore up. So we'll see.
That DB room, man, is all over the place. I mean, you can't even forget, got Brandon Moore too.
Kevin Tate.
Yeah, Demore Tate. See him. He's still dealing with injury. That's a rehab that I think is going to go until.
Sounds like he's off the scooter,
which is a good sign.
Good thing of Brownlee too. The slot.
Yeah, that's good. This fall camp is going to be extremely interesting to watch. But this next question too, let's jump into it real quick. There's a lot of questions coming in. Also, where would they play Jordan Travis if they don't start him at quarterback? Well, first of all, you can't keep him off the field. We kind of had a little conversation behind in the group chat last night or earlier this morning, Nate. You can't keep Jordan Travis off the field whatsoever. Way too talented, extremely talented, and it kind of makes it for a scary situation with Milton throwing the ball, and then you got Jordan Travis back there too, which he can still throw the ball. He's not as talented maybe in passing as Milton, but the threat of having those 2 quarterbacks there that can that still are some shifty kind of guys, that makes for a scary offense. But going back to Jordan Travis, I think he's going to have to play quite a bit. There's going to be certain packages set up for him this upcoming season. Dillingham and Norvell are going to be very, very creative with this, and I think they're going to be able to do this, game by game and kind of try to depict what the weaknesses are of their opponent's defense to kind of go for the throat with some of these packages.
I would compare it to Braxton Miller's last year at Ohio State. That staff did a good job of putting him in situations to utilize his athleticism. Whether it was, a lot of it was running, but, they also use him, in the slot, catching the ball, allowed him to get into space. So, I'm sure there's going to be packages where he's a wildcat quarterback. He's too good with the ball to keep him off the field. I think that you use him any way you can. And I think the coaching staff really is going to do their diligence to figure out how to make that work. Norvell and Dillingham are smart coaches, and I think that they're going to do their best to put him in situations that they could put the pressure on the defense.
Let's see, there's another question on here. What are the chances Akeem Dent has a bounce back year? There was maybe some talks of Dent maybe transferring or leaving Florida State, but it seems like he's going to be sticking with the Noles, at least for right now. And, he's had a kind of, last season wasn't really coming back from his injury. He wasn't fully healthy, but I think there's still some pretty big, I think I still have some expectations for him. I'm not going to put any money on it, but I think there's still some things there that Akeem Dent can make a comeback. What do you guys think real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. He's obviously a guy with a lot of talent, former 5-star recruit. And, I remember when he was a true freshman, it seemed like he was always in the right positions to make a play. He could just never come down with the interceptions. I mean, he probably would have had, 9 picks as a true freshman a couple years ago. Yeah. Like you said, that injury probably had some effect on him last year, especially being a defensive back. I mean, you rely so much on backpedaling and all those cuts and stuff. If you're not fully healthy, I mean, it can affect you really quick. So it definitely wouldn't surprise me if Akeem Dent turns it back around this upcoming season.
I think that would be huge for the defense if he can get back to that freshman form. It's all injury for him. He hasn't been the same. He hasn't been healthy since then. So if he's healthy, you cannot count him out.
Next question here is from Mick91. Who's going to be the next high school prospect to commit? It's crazy that we now have to say high school in there because now the transfer portal is craziness. We have our own channel now specifically to do automated tweets whenever a new transfer is being made into the portal. It's gone to this point. But who's going to be the next high school prospect to commit? I can never answer these, so it's between D-Lou and Nate.
Kashawn Sapp.
Okay. Offensive line.
Tough. It's tough because I feel like maybe someone could pop at one of these June camps if they, really start feeling things in FSU's favor. But just, if it's going to be someone that's not totally out of the blue or an announcement that wasn't already scheduled, I'll go with the guy that kind of has a firm decision in mind. I'll say Kaniah Charlton. I actually spoke with him today. He'll be officially visiting Florida State at the end of June, and then he plans to make his decision in July. So okay. I think that bodes well in Florida State's favor, especially, after everything we've reported this offseason, with Florida State heavily pursuing him and want him to be a part of that 2022 class.
Next question here is from Marvello. How do we feel about the new president? We kind of talked about it earlier today. I'm going to do some more research on it, but I think overall, looking at some people that are a little bit more smarter than me, I know that's shocking, but some people that are a little bit more smarter on that end of the spectrum feel pretty happy about it, and they're celebrating it. So it seems like they got the right guy, but I definitely want to do a little bit more reading on it. I don't know about you guys, but thumbs up. Next question here is Chubba Purdy back with the team. You got to get in the Discord. Discord for that one is going to be, well, I'm trying to say I'm not sure if we've said anything on it, but I think we'll make a little nugget in there for our members here, and maybe before the night is over, we'll see, hopefully. But yeah, there's an update there. You just got to go to patreon.com/NoGameDay. Suggest you sign up. Don't have a boring off season. Next question, is Nico Markel in or out? If he takes visits, does the staff push him out? This is from VA Noel from our Discord. What do we guys think? Is Nico Markel in or is he out?
I think he's leaning out, but we'll just have to see how these, he's already scheduled some official visits to some other schools. I believe West Virginia, Michigan State one. And there was someone else. I don't know. But so he's already scheduled some official visits to other schools despite being committed to Florida State, which isn't really a great sign in my opinion, because those visits came on the heels of AJ Duffy committing to FSU. And I spoke with a source a couple weeks ago, a month ago, or no, it was before AJ committed, but we were getting some signs before then that Nico, he was being a little quieter than we expected. And a source told me that if Duffy commits, they didn't expect Nico to be in the class. So we'll see how that winds up.
No, I don't think Florida State would push him out. The Florida State staff likes him a lot. Hence why they took his commitment and why they really pushed for him to make his decision when he did. Do I think he sticks with Florida State? Like Dustin, I don't see it right now. I think he stays committed. I think if there's some more movement in that quarterback room at Florida State, I think that could keep him in the loop. If there's some guys that leave FSU, that go into the portal, I think that probably helps Florida State's favor, irregardless that Duffy's committed. But that room's crowded, and it's going to happen if Florida State doesn't have transfers out. Duffy stays committed. I don't think that he sticks with FSU.
Next question is from P-Maj asking, how has Andrew Parchment, the Kansas wide receiver transfer, been adjusting to Florida State? I actually released a little nugget in here from a little while ago to go ahead and share it here with the show. I was told that he's been a very, very, very nice addition to the locker room. He's came in and immediately got to work and has started working relationships with teammates, if I can speak a full sentence. He's actually been working with the quarterbacks a lot this last week and after and before workouts. So far in that locker room, he's been working pretty well, trying to get to know his future teammates, his now new teammates, and he's been putting in some work with the quarterbacks, which we have been told the quarterbacks working right now quite a bit are Jordan Travis and Mackenzie Milton. So Andrew Parchment, as we know, has actually been putting in a lot of work down in the Miami area, actually training around Dalvin Cook too. A little cookie there for you. So he's been putting in a lot of work this last couple of months, and it seems like he's brought that same kind of energy and attitude to the Moore over there.
I was told he's been, he's super tough, fast, and hard to cover. Sounds good to me.
Sounds pretty decent. I'm excited for this wide receiver room. I could go for a tangent on it, but there's a lot of fun things to be excited for at this wide receiver room if the passing is an upgrade. Quick questions here. When is the 24-hour live stream? Once we have time in our lives, maybe.
Which is never.
Yeah, we rarely have any time. I don't think Nate's going to be there for the 24-hour live stream. It would have to be me that has to go through the whole thing, sadly. But then I would have them on.
I'll give you a good
4 hours?
10.
Whoa!
More than I thought.
Nate's giving me 10 hours? No way. No way.
It's got to be a day I'm off, though.
Okay. We can go back and watch some, as long as we can do it on YouTube, as long as we don't get in trouble, we can go back and watch some clips
FSU
from
games,
ACC Network. We could watch it on their YouTube page. I have to put that out there before we get DMCA'd. But yeah, we could watch some old games, some fun games maybe. That'd be fun. But yeah, we're going to figure out a way to do the 24-hour live stream.
We can watch some not fun games.
Yeah, that is true.
If we reach like a certain donation limit, we have to watch a Virginia Tech game.
Nah, if we reach 500 million, yeah, 500.
We're not watching that game.
That seems like a not so fun game.
We'll watch like the Wake Forest 2006 game.
Yeah, I'd rather watch that because it led to FSU's resurgence.
What about the Boise State game?
Yeah, I'd watch that game because we can make fun of Dontavius Jackson not recovering the fumble.
Next question, Marvello again. When is Logan going to race Los? Waiting on it. I've texted Los privately about this about a month and a half ago before we were going to Kenny Shaw's camp, and always ghosts the conversation there. Ghosts me every time. I don't think he wants it. He knows I've been working out. I've seen that he's been training. He's been training people, but I don't know if he's training. I don't know if he's training right now. He could be doing that right now. God be getting ready for the race, but we haven't set a time or date yet. I'd love to do it the weekend. Labor Day weekend would be fun to do it.
I think it has to happen Labor Day weekend.
I was thinking about doing it in the sprint game, but I get ghosted every time. I don't know. We'll see what happens there, but it is going to happen. Next question, 2, last one. Why doesn't Dustin like pineapple from BGU?
It's just too sour for me.
Sour. What?
Yeah, buy pineapple then.
That shows you how much I eat it.
What?
Dustin doesn't eat a lot of fruits. Let's kind of be honest here.
I eat apples.
When's the last time you've had a fruit?
I eat today. I had an apple. Apple a day
phenomenal.
Keeps the doctor away, but
How's that worked out?
I eat pretty well because I've been without insurance for nearly the past year, and I've only had one surgery, so it's worked out great.
You have a job now. You have insurance.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh man, yeah. I love pineapple. I think it's great.
On pizza is great too.
All right.
I
End the
don't-
podcast.
We got to get out of here.
End the podcast.
You have
Okay.
the worst. I thought me and Dustin agree on food quite a bit.
Pineapple
but
on pizza is
Nate,
phenomenal.
Nate has some awful takes on food, and it's unbelievable. It's like all of Twitter comes after him. It's terrible.
Notice he had to mute himself so his wife couldn't make fun of him over the podcast.
Yeah, even his wife just roasted him. And he works in the restaurant biz too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I have taste. You guys just sit there and let me get some hot wings.
Hot wings. We're talking about wings. We're not talking about chicken nuggets with sauce on them.
Yeah.
Don't even get us started. We'll go on a whole thing for 30 minutes on that. That is ridiculous. All right, real quick, we're gonna finish this off. A little extra stuff here. A little extra to finish it off. We're not done yet, people. We didn't get to talk to y'all last week, so we're gonna keep it going here with some content. A lot of good topics we've had on here tonight, but the last one we're gonna go over is recruiting misses. So the biggest recruiting misses in the last decade. We're just going to kind of conversate it here. We don't have any names jotted down on the list. We're all going to give our own opinions. Nate's got his own list here. It's not on our doc. He's got his own doc going.
I put on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. You put on Twitter. Okay. Start giving off some names here, and we'll see if we agree with you. So this is the biggest recruiting misses in the last 10 years for Florida State football.
I had a tie for first. I had Charles Cross and Justin Fields. So Charles Cross was committed at one point, and Justin Fields was all but set to make that move until that whole – we know how that all went down. I think that's a very fair 1A, 1B.
Okay. No, I think it is. I mean, the Justin Fields one is huge. I mean, the thing is, man, Jimbo had a chance with him, a pretty big chance. Not even a chance, but a pretty big chance. If he really wanted to try, a lot of people don't know, but Fields was really close. Fields was close with Gaynor, Deontay Sheffield.
Done chance,
yeah,
he was ready.
Yeah,
and then Florida State lays an egg against Bama and. The wheels fall off.
Jimbo wanted to go ahead and start.
Yep.
And then the Christmas tree got left outside.
Yep.
The Christmas tree got left outside, yeah.
Number 2, I got Sam Howell.
Okay. That seems like a pretty good one. I like that.
I mean, he's been dynamite, since he came in. So, number 3, I got Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Thibodeau would have been electric because he's already been so good for Oregon. And we haven't had pass rush since.
That's the thing about last year.
And Brian Burns, yeah.
And they talk about him as a possible number 1 pick in the draft. So I got number 4, Wanye Morris, another tackle, committed.
Yeah, I was about to say another commit.
Yep. I got Aaron Lynch.
Aaron Lynch.
Is that
Defensive
back in
end.
the day, or am I?
This is within 10 years.
Paxton
So-
Lynch?
No, Aaron
Kidding.
Lynch.
I'm just kidding.
Went to Notre Dame,
And then USF.
then USF, but at the time, his first year at Notre Dame was top flight. Number 6 may surprise y'all.
He's with
Go
Chicago, isn't he? Lynch is?
He's bounced around a little bit. I think he is with Chicago now.
Okay.
He had a couple really good years with San Francisco.
Oh, never mind. Jaguars now, I guess.
Okay.
But he's been around quite a bit.
Number 6 might surprise y'all.
Nate's got like a party cleaning.
Yeah.
We had a guy tweet us the other day and just went off on Nate. Nate.
You had to share the tweet. Listen, okay.
Here
All
we
right,
go. So you got to bring on the
you're
topic.
if you're upset about background noise, we can sit here and record podcasts and do it over and over and until we get it right, like a bunch of twats, like everyone else does, or it can be live. And I have kids. I have a family. I'm not going to mute my kids and my family just so you guys don't have background noise. I'm sorry.
No, I'm right there. We get off of work and we come on here. We barely have a lot of time, and Nate just literally gets off of work and he comes right on with us. So sometimes we're just eating dinner, like I was just eating dinner. So sometimes there might be a little bit of noise. We try to do our best and mute it, but I think we will all survive. But let's continue with our list here before Nate kills somebody.
So number 6, I have Israel Mukumu from South Carolina.
That's a good one.
Mukumu.
Yeah.
He used to be committed too.
Yeah, he was committed, and he had a really good career at South Carolina. When you look at some of the struggles Florida State's had at safety, imagine him and Nasir Dean together in the backfield. That would have been nice.
Yeah, no joke.
I got Austin. Go ahead.
I was going to say, was it last year or the year before whenever he got like the 3 interceptions against Georgia?
The year before. Then number 7, I have Austin Golson, another offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, he was committed, then up and decommits and chooses Auburn. Ole Miss, and ends up at Auburn.
Hey, Nate, someone in the comments, Seymour Stacks says it gives the show culture.
Yeah, man.
We're being real. We're real.
Yep.
We're real people. We're real people.
Yeah. I mean, we could sit here and, no, delete it. Let's do it again. No.
We're the realest of the real here.
All right. Number 8, I got Amari Cooper.
Oh, yeah. Give your thing about what you told us in the production meeting.
So there was a lot of belief back then that FSU could have landed him if they would have offered him at wide receiver and not corner.
Wow, at corner.
I think they probably looked at him like another Xavier Rhodes type.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been a little nice there. It seems like he's had a pretty decent NFL career.
Yeah, I mean, Amari Cooper was phenomenal.
What year? Do you remember what year that was? I'm trying to predict who he would be lining up next to.
I can look it up.
Look it up. I don't know exactly when.
Amari Cooper commit. Bam.
He was in the 2012 class, so
12,
he would have been with Jameis.
Yep.
Wow, Jameis. You think of Kelvin Benjamin,
Rashad
Rashad Green,
Woo.
Kenny Shaw. Shaw's Robin. I got the Shaw camp.
Oh, you're wearing it.
Oh yeah, dude, this thing's comfortable, man.
That would have been filthy.
Oh, it would have been unfair.
Yeah,
it would have been ridiculous. Imagine what Jameis could do with that.
Number 9 is a little bit of a surprise, but I think that he had a good college career. Again, looking at like that hybrid safety linebacker, I put Josh Harvey Clemens. Went to Georgia from Lowndes. That was a little bit of a whiff. Florida State thought they had it done, and he ended up going to Georgia. Number 10, I got Laramie Tunsil.
Okay.
Another tackle, And then some honorable mentions, I have Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Ronnie Harrison.
Yeah, Ronnie was
from my high school,
I've been told from Ronnie straight up. I remember being at Panama City Beach and being with that man, and we've always stayed in contact. And him telling me straight up that if Florida State, well, there goes my story. If Florida State would have had Jeremy Pruitt and he would have stayed there, he would have been a Knoll.
I think they got on him late, and I mean he was right down the street.
No, no. Florida State was adamant about him working out, and he felt that he was too talented to work out. So he did not want to work out for the coaches. So the coaches told him, if you don't want to work out, we're not going to offer you.
There's a lot of things there that Florida State, I think, was very.
It worked out for Ronnie.
It would have, well.
Yep, it worked out for Ronnie Harrison. And there were some people that questioned some of my options. That's just what, if you look at, I think, 8 to 10 could be switched around a little bit, but Florida State was just recruiting that well. And, a lot of those kids on my list were committed and were at positions that now Florida State, ended up starting to struggle at. Offensive line, a quarterback, a DN,
wide receiver,
a wide receiver. So it's just, it's crazy to think that the misses that Florida State had, like the near misses that could, you look at that team of 13, 14, that could just been even more ridiculous. But
yeah, looking at too, you got to think about it. Ronnie Harrison right next to Derwin James, which would have been scary to see.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just asked here, Nate, about your boy Travis Hunter, asking if Florida State for somehow misses, it had to be something crazy, misses on Travis Hunter. Where do you rank that? Where do you rank that at?
So that would be the biggest whiff of all time for FSU.
Like by a margin.
By a significant margin. That would be like worse than Fred Taylor. That would be worse than shit. I don't know, dude. Like,
it's
pretty bad.
That would be the worst. But
the bads.
So nothing is ever 100%, but he's like 99.9754363944% locked into Florida State.
Did we write that down?
Write it down.
Yeah.
Record it. Put it on Twitter as a lead-in. I don't care what you say. Florida State's got the guy who's the best player in the last 3 classes, firmly committed. Yeah, but
if he doesn't commit,
this is what we're putting out.
If he doesn't commit, Nate's gonna NG logo tatted on him, a little small one, about the size of like a quarter of a quarter.
Will you get?
No, don't need it on his neck, but he's gonna get an NG logo.
I would never tattoo my neck, ever.
All right, on your forehead.
I'll tattoo it on my ass.
The NG logo, damn.
Yeah.
Right where you going, shit.
Yeah. So I'll get a tattoo of NG if he does not land at Florida State.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then,
I personally don't want you to get that tattoo.
No, I'm not worried about that. He's no.
I'm gonna go message him on Instagram and tell him I'll give him free Chick-fil-A if he decommits.
No,
well, we got to be able to hear your mic fully. Make sure your mic is fully when you ask him. I'm getting you a mic. I'm going to do it before I leave to Texas on Wednesday. I'm sending a mic to you.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that would be that would be epic.
To get a tattoo of NG on your ass cheek?
No, for him to not go to FSU, that would be like the worst.
That'd be like a bad epic. That'd be
I don't think that would be epic.
I mean,
think that would be
in a way that would be epic.
It would be an epic disaster.
The definition of epic, it would fit.
Yes.
I don't.
But
epic means to me like awesome. That was crazy cool, like something like that.
No, that's because you guys have changed the meaning of the word.
What, our generation?
Yes.
No, but Travis Hunter's still good with pads on, by the way.
Yeah, maybe even better, and that's what makes him so good. Because you had those guys in high school who were afraid to hit. So once the pads are on, it's even more life for him now too. So
he just looks comfortable. It kind of just looks like he's having. Now it's just fun.
It's too easy.
Like when you play the My Career mode on NCAA or like the Road to Glory, and you're playing in those high school games and just putting up a shit ton of stats. That's literally what it's like.
Can he reasonably play both sides Will we see that? I think it will happen in a game. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
I mean, not full time, but he's certainly
Yeah.
going to get some snaps.
yeah.
So, my opinion is different from other people. I think you play him at corner, where he can play all the time. I think he shuts down half the field, and then you can still get him 20 snaps at wide receiver. You can still get him the ball plenty of times, get him the ball, allow him to make plays on offense. But I just think that, I mean, either where he goes, he's going to be dynamite in college. I think versatility wise with him, in the secondary, I know, you have a guy with his ball in his hands who just can change the scoreboard. I understand that, but it's also just as important to shut down half the field.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do for a defense? Like a Jalen Ramsey, you have that shut down half the field. That changes the whole dynamic of a defense.
Help save.
That's how I look at it too. I mean, but I always play defense coming up, so I always prefer defense. But I fully can understand when you see him on offense, take a screen and just he hits his top gear within 3 steps and he's gone. It's just I can understand both arguments.
Yeah.
Going back to the topic though of biggest misses, the Athletic.
Who else would you include?
Well, the Athletic just did a panel with a whole bunch of former coaches, and one of them was Bobby Bowden. Mm-hmm. And they asked all these coaches, "Who's your biggest recruiting miss?" He avoided the question, saying, "Oh, you can't really get everybody." But in a future question that talked about which evaluation were you really right about, he mentioned Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
who of course went to Florida. He said, just that kid in high school, he was the best running back he'd ever seen. Great kid. We saw that just growing up. Emmitt Smith was just that guy.
Yeah.
And that was really the only name Bowden mentioned. But then I want to mention a couple basketball guys because obviously, that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Go right. In the last decade, are we sticking the decade?
I'm gonna stick in the last year. Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman.
Oh yeah.
Edwards was all but for sure coming to Florida State.
Would you put Wiggins in there too?
I would not, simply because he did not have the grades to get in.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to have eligibility issues had he come to Florida State. Yeah, it would have been cool, and that it's a big reason why XRM came to Florida State as well. But I never really seriously considered that he was going to go to Florida State. Same goes for Kevin Knox, a very similar situation, where legacy guy, but went to a bigger school.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at Anthony Edwards, who was signed, sealed, silent, committed to Florida State. Super close to the coaching staff, super close with the team. Then just last minute, Georgia pulls out recruiting tools. And he ends up at Georgia. I remember the coaches were, especially CY, was crushed. He was upset about that one. And it's the same with Wiseman. Wiseman wasn't as severe, but we gave Memphis a good run for their money on that recruitment. We did Florida State did everything right in that recruitment. You talked to a lot of people. You talked to a lot of people close to Wiseman. They'll say Florida State was right there with Memphis. If he was from Florida, he probably would have gone to Florida State instead of Memphis. It was very, very close recruitment. You see, after they spend a year or 3 games in college, however you want to look at it, number 1, number 2 in the draft. And those two kids were super talented.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it now, like Edwards looks like he's blossoming into, potentially becoming one of the biggest personalities in the entire NBA. And I mean, imagine if he had a Florida State uniform on, like all the marketing and the branding, all that crap that comes with it. I mean, a lot for Florida State to sell.
Yep.
I don't think it's being out of line to say he's probably one of the next great scorers. I think in the NBA,
he improved a ton.
Yeah, I mean,
throughout the year, and had he gone to Florida State instead of Georgia, where Georgia he had to do everything.
Yeah,
and that team was terrible. Had he come to Florida State, he's playing with 3 future NBA guys with Patrick Williams, Devin Vassell, Trent Forrest. I mean, that's a lot of talent that he doesn't have to play up. He doesn't have to be the guy.
You think they win the title with him?
They would have won it without him.
Nah, that is
How much
true.
of a, I mean,
That is true. F you, COVID-19. I want to kill
Yeah.
you.
They would
Sorry.
have won it without him. You put him
Yeah.
in.
no,
There's a little bit of tunnel vision with him that I don't know
Yeah.
it would have fit in perfectly, but he's so talented.
I agree that team would have won it all, but I think with a guy who can like take over a game as a scorer like he can, on top of everything else, I think that would have made Florida State just odds-on favorite. Like,
I mean, there's just so much wing depth. I mean, when you think of Trent, Devin, MJ, and you throw in Anthony Edwards, I mean, come on, that's insane.
You got the souped up Ferrari. You don't got the low riding Ferrari. You got the SUV Ferrari.
And not even 3 NBA players, 2 lottery picks. Pat Williams went 4th, just a couple picks after him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would have been an insanely loaded team.
Crazy. Terrence Mann, someone put here, our guy Mendoza, always in here listening, said, I'm personally loving Mann's progression. The Clippers.
If only they'd play him.
More, like way more.
But he didn't play second against the Mavericks on Saturday.
it's weird. Like,
And they lost, you know.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
They need his defense because Luka was torching them.
didn't they do that last year too?
It wasn't this severe.
Where he played well, and then when it came to playoffs, he didn't play at all.
It wasn't this like last season. He was only playing like 8 to 10 minutes a game. Now he's like this season. He was a legitimate role player playing.
Yeah.
What 18 minutes a game? Let me look it up real quick.
Mhm.
And then to just not play him game one when Luka Doncic is torching you. Like, he played 19 minutes a game this season.
Didn't something happen with him and Luca last season?
No, it was in the preseason.
And he's putting up
Well,
like
there goes Dustin.
Yeah.
See you later, D-Lou.
he's putting up. He's producing in those 19 minutes. Like,
He is. I mean, 7 points a game, 7 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and shooting 41% from 3. Like that's something we didn't see from Terrence when he was at Florida State, was being that good of a 3-point shooter. Like,
I don't follow basketball as much as you do, but like his per 48, whatever that stat is,
per 36, 13.5,
Whatever it
7
is,
and
yeah.
3. Like those are good numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's weird. But
Craziness.
yeah, I mean,
That's a pretty cool topic. I like that.
I think you'll see him play more tomorrow.
Better. You better. I'm traveling. Where's the game at?
It's still in LA.
I'm getting a flight out there if he doesn't play more than 19. If he doesn't play more than 25 minutes, then
Well, game 3 will be in Dallas. So
Dustin just texted and said his computer died. How does your computer die if it's plugged in? I don't
or
understand.
AKA the fiance say, it's time to get off. You said it's only gonna be an hour.
Which. Oh my goodness gracious! Well, yeah, I think that's practically. This has been a very fun pod. Oh, Dustin's coming back in. Oh, I guess his fiance let him come back. Wow, look how sweet that is. Fiance let him come back in. Let's see if he'll have something to say for himself. D-Lou.
Yo.
Nate said your fiance told you only got an hour on tonight.
I didn't know my computer was that close to death
why is it not plugged in?
because it's like a long stretch.
What?
I gotta like plug it in across the room, so it's like
You have to
a
stretch
long
while
stretch.
doing
Like
that?
the cord is like
You doing
real
like a
tight.
split?
I don't want to mess it up.
He's got to get up, so it's hard.
Oh, it's like look. I'm here. The cord is like 6 feet that way, so it's really like I'm far away from. The
You did
cord.
not just say 6 feet.
There's not a lot of length.
That is one step.
I mean, that's about 6 feet, right?
That is one step.
I mean, I'd lay down on the floor and measure it because I'm about 6 foot, but I don't feel like it.
Okay. It's always a good time to start ending it off around after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fun pod. We had a lot of stuff to kind of go over. Some good questions we were given by everybody across the social channels and the Discord. By the way, real quick to everybody that's still watching live, we are going to be revamping the streams. So this time next week, we're going to have a little bit longer until we record next Thursday. When I get back from Dallas, Texas, we're going to come back over.
Crazy.
What?
Going to Dallas without me, it's crazy.
Without you, this ain't no date trip kind of situation like you think it's.
I'm a Mavericks fan. They're playing in the playoffs. Like, come on, man.
I know. I'm going to show you. I'm going to be watching I'm going to be watching in the bars. Don't worry. I'll be pulling for y'all.
An invite. Damn.
Okay. I don't got the ticket money for that. But I was going to say here, we're going to be revamping the stream. So you guys interacting on the stream, giving us comments live on Twitter, Facebook, where else? YouTube. They're all going to be able to be shown here live on the screen. The guys are going to be seeing y'all's questions coming up on here. So going to be really interactive to start off this, kind of get deep into this off season, and next season's going to be great. But we're going to start that off next Thursday. I'm excited for it. So keep a lookout for that when we go live next Thursday at 8:30 p.m.
I don't think I will.
That you'll be
until
on
I get
it.
a new mic.
You'll be on the damn show. So
I'm not coming back for another episode until I get a new mic.
Okay, I've been trying to give you a new episode or a new microphone. Damn
just go over to Logan's house and just take it. Take his.
Yeah, well, I'm gone for a week.
I can break in that little window that's behind you.
Probably gonna leave it open for the cats anyways. You won't have to break in.
Yeah, probably so. Well, Austin knows real well. He's a cat dad too, so. And I would love to redo Austin's background instead of having this man with a hat on.
Do you know who that
looking
is?
At us. Thomas Rhett. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
No.
I have no idea.
Lord.
I don't even listen to him, and I know who it is.
I have no idea.
It's only the greatest current country artist, but okay.
Only the music that Austin tweets about the most.
This
I don't
is
know.
true.
I don't know who that is.
Well, you have my notifications on, so it's a little bit unfair.
Yeah, Dustin does. Dustin, that's a little weird too, but.
Well, you see all my like tweets.
Do you want me to bring that up right now? Every picture that Austin
we've gone
likes,
through it.
Every picture that Austin likes on Twitter that is a female, that is a female, it comes up on my timeline. Like it says, Austin has liked this photo. Austin has liked this video. I don't give anything against him. I just make sure to share it every time in the group chat. Like, hey, get it going there, Austin.
It happens more often than it should in the group chat. Like I feel like I have no privacy.
You should tell how many times he personally texts me.
I don't text him personally.
That is cap.
I swear.
I don't.
It's been a couple weeks, but I'll find one. He's like, man, what's Austin doing?
The same thing I always do.
I do not do that. I do not say, what does Austin do? I say, I'll put it in the group chat. Why wouldn't I just put it in the group chat? I already do that already. I give it respect. He's a single man just looking for a little Twitter girl. I love it. Twitter used to be the place to get your girl. Like that used to be the relationship place. I don't know where it's at now. Tinder, I guess, ruined that.
Real life.
You say real life. How'd you find your fiance, Dustin?
Not real life.
What?
So you can't roast anybody then. Nate, how'd you find your wife?
Probably real life.
You want the story or you want real life or fake life?
What?
What?
I'm confused.
Give us a quick story.
The quick story is my sister was dating a guy at her high school. We went to different high schools. I went with them to their homecoming. I met her at their homecoming dance. We dated a little bit in high school, broke up, went to college, did the college thing, came back in 2002, back to Florida, ran back into each other 2004 and picked back up. So I met my wife when I was 17.
Oh, okay. Young love?
I mean, are you really in love when you're 17 years old? Do you really know what that is?
I loved my girlfriends in high school.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for what that is, yeah. But, compared to like adulthood. No, it's different. So
We're getting way too deep for Monday night.
getting way too deep. So,
Oh man.
but here I am now, 2 kids. Woo!
Yeah, 3 kids. Dustin's down here with us tonight.
Yeah, man.
Look at you doing that, teaching him the recruiting ropes.
He's trying to teach me. I just refuse.
Yeah. I think it's gonna work out too well for you. All right, we gotta get off of this, even though the viewers are still loving it. But we gotta get off of here, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Like I said, stream is being revamped next Thursday, so make sure you guys tune in there. It's gonna be Liddy Faghetti. We're gonna be popping. Nate's gonna have so many questions about Travis Hunter. He's gonna have his freaking head explode. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, have a great rest of y'all's week. As always, you can listen to this on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify. Hit that subscribe button. Hit it right now. I'm giving you 5 seconds to hit it, so then every time we upload a new episode, it goes straight to your phone. You get alerted. Thank you guys so much for following and listening. Have a great rest of y'all's week. Peace.
Same color t-shirt. Mama told me not to sell